Welcome back to the channel, folks. I am the challenged one. I'm working in the shop today on this 1957 Chevy rebuild, and obviously I have the body off of it and the frame down here. I spent a bunch of time disconnecting all of the stock components, including the differential, the entire front suspension. There is nothing that is bolted onto this frame anymore, so it is just a complete, total bare frame. Then I used my trusty jetter tool to clean out the inside of this frame. You can find a link to this down in the description. It's on Amazon. It's real handy to do, but you want to get everything out of these boxed frame rails. I had probably 4 or 5 pounds worth of dirt and junk just in there, and if that sits in there and it gets wet over time, it's going to rot this frame from the inside out. After that, I power washed the outside of the frame and then used the trusty cut brush all over this thing to get all the rust and the scale and basically anything that was on it. At this point, we have a completely stripped, very clean frame. The purpose of today's video is to take a look at this frame and figure out ways that we can strengthen it. There's not a lot in here that adds strength to this. It's just basically 2 rails going all the way across, a front cross member and a rear cross member. There also would have been these brackets that were tied to the front of this frame, one on each side, and then transmission bolted to each side. So you could say that there was a little bit of support going across the front of this, but it was using a transmission as a structural support from side to side. Well, I'm not using the factory setup when it comes to the engine or the transmission. I'm using aftermarket stuff. So that means that I need to get rid of all of that. And obviously I've already gotten rid of those brackets. The original motor mounts would have been located on this front cross member, and the engine basically would have sat on each side of this. I'm going to get rid of these. Then I'm going to weld in aftermarket engine perches. Those new engine perches really aren't going to do a whole lot to add structural stability to this thing, especially when it comes to the twist of the chassis. And for those of you with keen eyes, there should be a leaf spring hanger here, and there should be a leaf spring hanger right here. Well, there isn't anymore. Well, I'm not going to use the original leaf springs. I want a more modern suspension in this, but I want to do it on a budget because most of us can't afford all the extremely expensive stuff. However, I'm not going to talk about the rear suspension in this video. That's going to come in another video. With everything stripped off of this, it's a lot easier to check the integrity of this entire frame. So you can check, see if it's straight, if it's level across, which then would indicate whether it's twisted or not. Most of these frames, well, you know, they're 60 years old. So finding a good one is a unicorn, and I have just that right here. In all of my research trying to figure out how to stiffen this frame, everyone came back to, well, number one, start with the original frame and go over every single weld. Fill in the areas that aren't welded because the factory didn't weld every single inch of this, and check for cracks. So I started at the end of the frame and started working my way forward, and anywhere that was not welded, I laid beads, and that included right on top of this arch right here. There was nothing on this side, and not a lot on this side either. As we go down the side, there was some missing in the middle. The driver's side front top frame here, it was actually welded nicely from the factory, but the other side was hardly welded at all. Just a little bit here, here, and here. So I laid down some nice long beads to fill in everything. If we look at these front cross members as they are attached to the frame, they are primarily just riveted in place. Now there are a few factory welds that are in there, but it's not a lot. So anywhere that you can, throw beads of weld in. I did the same thing on the top of this. Just get everything nice and connected, both sides. Don't forget to check for cracks. I had a crack on the bottom of my frame, extending from here all the way to here, and then back a little further, here all the way to there. Weld those up, get them back to where they're supposed to be, and then do the same thing. Lay beads connecting. Don't forget, turn these frames over, weld them too. Once you've fully welded the frame and you're comfortable with everything that's there, Let's move on to adding things. And so one of the first things you're probably going to do is add a shock brace that's going to go from here to here. And that is because the factory connects the shocks from the differential, which it should be, to the body of the car, which it shouldn't do. This transmits a lot of the vibration and stress from that differential straight into the body of this car, and that's not what you want. You want it to stay confined within that frame. It's just a lot stronger that way. Not only that, but it's going to be a lot quieter. A lot less is going to be transmitted from the road straight into the body and right into your eardrums. And it also ties one side directly to the other side. So it adds another cross member to add strength to this frame. And I would suggest welding that on instead of bolting it on. There are all kinds of companies out there that have those shock braces. CPP, one of them, Summit, I don't know, I'm sure there's a ton of Chinese one. I'd say stay away from the Chinese ones, try to go with the American-made ones. Generally speaking, they're going to be stronger, but it's definitely a good idea to do. Am I going to put this in? No, and the reason is my rear suspension, what I am going to put into it, has its own shock brace. Now we need to get to strengthening the center part of this where there's absolutely nothing. And we need something there. Now, I will tell you that Art Morrison, way back in the day, used to have this X-frame thing that you could put in there, and it was slick. But as far as I can tell, they don't do that anymore. They just sell them with their full frames. So unless I'm wrong, if I am, let me know down in the comments. But there aren't a lot of kits out there that are offering stiffening kits for these frames. Well, one of them that is Summit Racing. This is the kit that Summit sells, and it comes with 2 rails that will weld onto the original frames, plus then another plate here at the bottom, and then a movable transmission plate at the top. It also comes with motor mounts so that you can put your whatever style motor engine that you're going to put in this thing. So is this going to stiffen my frame like a race car? Heck no. Is it going to stiffen it at all? Probably some. It's not going to make gigantic differences, but the beauty is it does tie the sides together. It provides engine mounts, it provides a movable transmission mount. It's definitely going to be better than just stock. And if you're putting an aftermarket transmission or engine or whatever in, you're going to have to buy those mounts anyway, and it's going to cost some money. So why not add a little bit of structural integrity to your vehicle? However, if you are going to be racing your Tri-5, don't use the original frame. It wasn't meant for racing. You're going to have to use some sort of Art Morrison or somebody else, you know, $20-some thousand aftermarket suspension that's meant for it, that has rack and pinion, has all of that kind of stuff. But for those of us out there, and I know there's a lot more of us out there, we're going to use what we've got. We're going to make it the best that we possibly can and as reliable as possible. And that's the purpose of this entire build. I don't want to spend $1 zillion on it, but I still want it to be really good. Working on getting these suckers in here, and I'll tell you, it's not very easy. A second set of hands would definitely be nice, but you're also going to need a ton of different clamps. I even have one that's still on the frame right there, but getting these even side to side is really, really hard. You want to mock it up on one side, mock it up on the other side. One side, at least in this case, the passenger side, just sat a little lower naturally than what the right hand side did. So I worked to boost that up a bit, and then got it tacked in place, went to the other side, got it dropped a little bit, and now using my digital level, I'm within 0.1 degrees of each other, which I'm going to call that good enough. So everything's spot welded in place at the moment. Next, I got to put that rear plate in. I also need to bolt in this transmission cross member, and then you got to go through and fill in all of your welds while spreading out the heat along all of it. So side to side, and take your time. The other side is this thing has alignment holes. So there's an alignment hole right there, and if you can see that, it partially lines up with it, but it's not perfect. Exactly the same on the other side. It also has alignment holes along the back one and the very back one, but they don't actually have any holes in the frame there, so there was nothing there to align those two. The problem is, if I would have used those alignment holes side to side, this one would have sat way down and that one would have sat way up. So you just kind of have to make things fit. Not only that, but from them welding it at the factory, stuff gets a little bit twisted and warped, and then it gets shipped as well. And I don't know if you can see this, but I got to straighten that body mount out as well. I'm actually going to wait to weld this in until I have the body back on the car so that I can adjust it back and forth a little bit if I need to, or up and down. Do our engine mounts. I already get rid of the rivets that go through here, opened up these holes to 3/8 of an inch, and then loosely bolted this bad boy in place on both sides. Now I've got the engine and the transmission dangling, and I'm going to set them in place, connect everything, get this set wherever it's supposed to be bolted in place, make sure that those are not bound up, actually tack weld them in place before I drill the holes on this side. I'm actually going to bolt and weld these on permanently, but they need to be in the right orientation so that when I pull this back out, everything goes back in easily. I've mocked it for the second time, got a bolt in this spot which brought this whole thing down, and then set the engine and everything back in place. Everything still lines up, got one on each side. I'm calling it good, pulling the engine trans, gonna burn all this in, final bolt it down, move on. The engine purchase are welded in on all sides, and of course so is everything else. I do still have to flip this frame over and finish welding everything on the bottom side, as well as drop this body back on the car and figure out exactly where these mounts need to go before I burn them in, but that's for a whole different day. I worked on this on and off for about 2 days. Realistically, if you had everything together and you had all day to work on it, you could get this done in a day. The hardest part of this whole thing was just figuring out exactly where to put these to start with. Otherwise, it was pretty intuitive kit. It does come with instructions. They definitely help, so read them. But I mocked up the engine and the transmission, and everything fit exactly like it's supposed to. So how much structure did this whole thing actually give you? Well, honestly, I don't know. I know that old Art Morrison one that they used to offer would give way more stability to the whole thing. But our choices for doing this are pretty limited. So this is what I have, this is what I got. I needed the engine purchase and the custom transmission mount anyway. This does a pretty good job of tying everything side to side. It's definitely better than nothing. If you found this helpful, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are working on. Is this something that you guys would install? What do you think of the kit? Don't forget to hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. Next thing I have to do is install a custom 4-link in the back of this, and I'm gonna do it on the cheap. I'm gonna show you that in the next video. Stay challenged, my friends.